NASCAR is back. With NASCAR being the first major sports league back, there are going to be plenty of major storylines to follow. Today, we'll look at 13 things to watch as the NASCAR season returns. But before I start, I want to make a big shout out to my good buddy, Erich Keplinger, for this video idea. He did a ton of research to get this video off the ground. He's awesome, so I'll have a link to his channel in the description below. He was the guy who also designed my channel's logo, so really good friend. Just give him some love. So starting off, we have our guys that are under the radar right now. The two biggest names of them being Aric Almirola and Matt DiBenedetto. Well, guys like Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, they've all been really setting the world on fire. Other guys have been taking a bit of a quieter approach. Guys like Almirola and DiBenedetto have quietly been working to put themselves in position to have a good season. Almirola currently sits 7th in points, DiBenedetto 9th. Almirola has finished below 20th twice, but has also had 2 8th place runs. DiBenedetto has finished between 13th and 19th 3 times, and had a 2nd place finish at Vegas. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here. Another major storyline to follow is how Brett Moffitt will do in his return to racing in the Truck Series. Moffitt had a terrible injury, breaking both of his femurs in a motocross accident. Due to the pandemic, Moffitt actually isn't going to miss a single race this season, but it is still going to be unclear as to how it could affect his driving moving forward. Speaking of returns, Ryan Newman will be back in the number 6 car after his scary Daytona 500 crash. Newman had to sit out the following 3 races after the 500 until the pandemic hit. The silver lining that you can see on all this is that at least he didn't have to miss a bunch of races and he got more time to recover. Now, he'll be coming back to racing at his best track of Darlington Raceway. It may be a memorable race back for all to see. Another driver returning is not coming back from an injury, but instead retirement. Matt Kenseth is going to be back to drive the number 42 Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi Racing. Kenseth is only driving the car because Kyle Larson dropped a racial slur on a live stream. This resulted in his indefinite suspension from NASCAR. Kenseth filling in is interesting because he hasn't been in this package yet, so lap 1 will be his first time in these types of cup cars. The next big question is one that was starting to heat up before the sudden stoppage of the sport. There have been rumors of Brad Keselowski not being happy at Penske. Others of him going and driving the 48 for Hendrick Motorsports after Jimmy Johnson retires. What makes this more interesting is the fact that Keselowski's performance has been pretty good this year. They've been all top 10s except for the Daytona 500. So, if his performance stays at a high level, it'll be pretty interesting to see what his future holds after 2020, whether he stays or goes. One guy that isn't looking for a change would be Happy Harvick. Why? Because Kevin Harvick is the sports points leader right now and has been doing better than anyone else. He has finished as a 5th, 8th, 9th, and 2nd so far this year. He only has 1 stage victory, so he is gonna probably need to get better at that and getting race victories to compete for a championship this year. He is currently leading by 1 point over Joey Logano. Another driver that has a hot hand to start off the year is Ryan Blaney. While his finishes haven't been all there has been speed in the car. Blaney has been bad fast, but he always is having some sort of bad luck as he could have won the first 3 races of the year. Blaney just hasn't had the good luck, so it's going to be only a matter of time before we find out if he can go on a tear or not. Championship goals are completely realistic for this team this year. Unlike Blaney and the Penske teams in general, there have also been teams that just haven't gotten off the right foot. JGR is surprisingly one of these teams. With the caliber of drivers on their team and how they've performed over the last couple years, it's very jarring not to see them at the top. With the caliber of drivers on the team and how they performed overall in the last couple years, it's pretty jarring not to see them on top. At this moment, every one of the JGR drivers sits outside of the top 10 in points. Denny Hamlin did score the victory in the 2020 Daytona 500, but has been very hit or miss. Kyle Busch started off poorly, but 2 straight top 5s in the last 2 races have been a good trend. Erich Jones has finished poorly as well, with finishes of 18th, 23rd, 10th, and 28th. And Martin Truex Jr. has struggled to a point that he hasn't really seen since the late years that he was at DEI. His highest finish is 14th so far, and he hasn't finished half of the races this year. Now, to a team that's off to a great start, similar to that of the aforementioned Penske, would be that of Hendrick Motorsport. Jimmy Johnson has been a real threat every week. Chase Elliott has had some blisteringly fast cars, but just can't put it all together. One guy that can put it together is the driver of the 88, Alex Bowman. Bowman has been very fast this year and flat out dominated Auto Club. The only outlier is William Byron. While his HMS teammates are 4th, 5th, 6th in points, Byron is 19th. In the lower series, there will be a championship battle that is going to be very interesting to watch this year. Drivers like Harrison Burton, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, Brandon Jones, Ross Chastain, Noah Gragson, and Justin Allgaier, as well as a lot more, are all going to be very viable and real threats for the Xfinity Championship, and it's going to be can't miss TV. The next big and last individual thing on this list will be looking at Joey Logano. Logano has really had a Jekyll and Hyde type of season. He has 2 wins, one at Vegas and one at Phoenix. At the same time, though, his other 2 races have ended up in finishes outside of the top 10. If Logano is to keep up with his Penske teammates of Keselowski and Blaney in chasing a championship, then he is going to need to get the inconsistency in check. A huge new development that we are definitely going to notice by just watching on TV is NASCAR's new safety measures for COVID at the track. Crews can't celebrate with the driver and have to be very toned down with it. Drivers will be in victory lane alone, and they're going to be interviewed alone. Broadcasters won't be even at the track. There'll be very few that are not essential team members, and there will be no fans whatsoever. For the essential employees, they are going to be temp checked before coming into the track. And penalties for not complying with these rules and mask rules and such will equal up to huge fines per person. The biggest thing to watch out for will be the first laps at Darlington. No cars will have been on the track until the race starts, which means you got what you got, you brung what you brung. For drivers like Kenseth and Newman, it will be the first that they've been in a car in a long, long time. And for Newman, it's going to be the first since the 500. Kenseth, the first ever in this aero package. While there are those who are good at this track, this race feels like one of the biggest unknowns of the 21st century in sports. Denny Hamlin is good there though, as is Newman and Erich Jones. The big storyline to add as well is that there will be a midweek race on Wednesday at Darlington, and then the next week on Wednesday at Charlotte. The ones who are going to win are probably going to be those who are fast off the truck all year, as well as those who are very quick to adapt in race. Those who have been fast, like Bowman, Blaney, Harvick, and Joey Logano. So with this now, I want to hear from you. Which of these points will you be following the most and why? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like, as well as subscribing to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And also sub to my buddy Erich Keplinger, who really helped big time with this video. And until next time, have a good one.